Imagine building over 48,000 kilometers of high-speed rail, more than the rest of the world combined, only to discover that most of your lines don't even turn a profit. Reports suggest that roughly 4 out of every 5 routes operate at a financial loss. Some stations sit in what appear to be empty fields. Debt has climbed into the hundreds of billions of dollars. Even within China, economists and transportation experts have questioned whether such rapid expansion can ever be financially sustainable. From a traditional business perspective, this looks like one of the greatest infrastructure failures ever created. After all, that's how we've been taught to judge success. If a project doesn't generate profits, something must have gone wrong. If it requires constant investment, it must be inefficient. And if it keeps expanding despite mounting losses, surely it's just throwing good money after bad. This criticism has become one of the most common narratives surrounding China's high-speed rail. Critics argue that it is an oversized vanity project, a symbol of ambition rather than sound economics. To them, the numbers seem impossible to defend. Yet here's the part that makes the story far more interesting. China already knows these numbers. The government knows that many routes lose money. Railway operators know that ticket revenue alone won't cover construction costs. None of this is hidden information, and despite all of that, China hasn't slowed down. Quite the opposite. It continues extending the network into smaller cities, less developed provinces, and regions where profitability appears even less likely. That raises a question few people stop to ask. If China's leaders understand that many of these railways will never become profitable businesses, why do they keep building them? Is this really a trillion-dollar mistake? Or could it be that the rest of us are measuring the project using the wrong standard? Because perhaps China's high-speed rail was never intended to be judged like a corporation. Perhaps it was never designed to maximize profits at all. And if that's true, then the biggest question isn't why the railway loses money. The real question is whether making money was ever the point in the first place. To understand China's high-speed rail, we first have to challenge a simple assumption. Should infrastructure be expected to make money? It sounds like a reasonable question until you apply it to almost anything else. Have you ever looked at a bridge and wondered whether it turned a profit? Or asked how much revenue a highway generated last year? Does an airport pay for itself through ticket sales alone? Should a city's subway system be judged solely by its balance sheet? Of course not. These aren't ordinary businesses. They're public infrastructure. Their purpose isn't to maximize profits, but to maximize the productivity of everything connected to them. A highway may never earn enough in tolls to cover its construction costs, but it allows factories to move goods faster, businesses to reach more customers, and workers to commute more efficiently. The economic value it creates often far exceeds the revenue it directly collects. Railways work the same way. This isn't a uniquely Chinese idea either. Switzerland, widely praised for having one of the world's best railway systems, spends billions every year supporting its rail network because the broader economic and social benefits outweigh the financial losses. Japan, despite its famous bullet trains, also relies on government investment for many regional lines. Across Europe, governments routinely subsidize public transportation because they view mobility as a public good, not just a commercial service. Yet when the conversation turns to China, the standard suddenly changes. Instead of asking what the railway enables, many observers ask only one question. Does it make money? That's a surprisingly narrow way to evaluate a project designed to reshape an entire country's economy. Imagine criticizing an elevator because it doesn't generate profits. Its value isn't measured by the coins people feed into it. It's measured by the fact that without it, a 50-story office building couldn't function. The elevator doesn't create wealth directly, it makes everything else inside the building possible. China's high-speed rail may operate on the same principle. Perhaps the trains themselves aren't the product. Perhaps they're the platform upon which countless other industries, businesses, and opportunities are built. And once you begin looking at the railway as infrastructure instead of a business, an entirely different picture starts to emerge. One where the most important returns don't appear on the railway's financial statements at all. If China's high-speed rail isn't designed to maximize ticket revenue, then where does the return on investment actually come from? The answer is surprisingly simple, almost everywhere except the railway itself. Economists call these spillover effects, benefits created by a project that never appear on its own balance sheet. And this is where China's high-speed rail begins to look very different. Take labor mobility. Before high-speed rail, many workers were effectively limited by geography. A job opportunity 500 kilometers away often meant relocating your entire family. Today, cities that once felt distant are connected in just a few hours. Companies can recruit talent from a much larger pool. Professionals can travel for meetings and return home the same day. And businesses gain access to customers and partners who were previously out of reach. Time, in a modern economy, is one of the most valuable resources. Every hour saved is an hour that can be spent creating value somewhere else. Then there's tourism. A city that once attracted only local visitors can suddenly welcome millions of travelers from across the country. Weekend trips become practical. Restaurants, hotels, shopping districts, and entertainment venues all benefit from a flow of visitors that simply didn't exist before. The railway company may not capture those profits, but local businesses certainly do. Perhaps the most fascinating transformation happens around the stations themselves. Critics often point to photos of newly built stations surrounded by empty fields as evidence of waste. But those images capture only a single moment in time. In many cases, what begins as farmland gradually evolves into business districts, residential neighborhoods, universities, industrial parks, and commercial centers. The station wasn't built because the city already existed. In many cases, the station was built to help create the city. This is a strategy China has repeated again and again. Build the transportation first, then allow economic activity to grow around it. Viewed through this lens, the railway isn't simply moving passengers from one destination to another. It's reducing the cost of distance itself. It allows people ideas, investment, and opportunity to circulate faster than ever before. The trains may lose money, but if they make businesses more productive, cities more connected, and entire regions more prosperous, then perhaps the railway isn't generating profits in the wrong place. Perhaps we've simply been looking in the wrong ledger all along. There's another reason why so many people misunderstand China's high-speed rail. They're evaluating a project built for the next 50 years using the financial results of the last 5. Most investors think in quarters. Politicians often think in election cycles. But major infrastructure projects operate on an entirely different timeline. History offers plenty of examples. When the United States began constructing the interstate highway system in the 1950s, many highways stretched across farmland, deserts, and sparsely populated regions. Critics questioned whether such enormous investments were necessary. Why build roads where so few people lived? The answer became obvious decades later. Those highways didn't simply connect cities, they helped create new ones. They transformed logistics, fueled suburban growth, reshaped manufacturing, and supported the rise of modern American commerce. Today, it's almost impossible to imagine the US economy without them. China appears to be applying a similar philosophy, but at much higher speed. Rather than waiting for every city to become wealthy before improving transportation, it is building the transportation first. The assumption is straightforward. If people, goods, capital, and talent can move faster, economic development will eventually follow. This also explains why the network keeps expanding, even when some individual routes lose money. A railway network is not just a collection of separate lines. It's a system. Every new connection increases the value of the existing network. A city linked to 10 destinations is useful. A city linked to 100 becomes something entirely different. Economists call this the network effect. The value of the whole grows much faster than the value of its individual parts. In other words, one additional railway line doesn't just benefit itself, it improves every journey connected to it. This is why judging each route in isolation can be misleading. It's like evaluating a single road without considering the entire highway system. Infrastructure has always been a long-term bet. It demands enormous investment today in exchange for opportunities that may not fully materialize for decades. Whether China's strategy ultimately succeeds remains a question history will answer. But one thing is already clear. This was never a project designed to maximize short-term profits. It was designed to maximize long-term possibilities. Because sometimes the most valuable infrastructure isn't built for the economy you have today. It's built for the economy you hope to have tomorrow. So, let's return to the question we started with. Is China's high-speed rail a financial failure? If your only measurement is whether ticket sales cover construction costs, then the answer for many routes is probably yes. Large parts of the network are unlikely to ever generate enough direct revenue to justify their enormous price tags. But perhaps that's the wrong question. After all, we don't judge a nation's education system by whether schools make a profit. We don't ask whether the military generates positive cash flow. We don't expect hospitals, highways, or public parks to maximize shareholder value. We invest in them because they create something far more important than financial returns. They create the conditions for a stronger society and a more productive economy. Maybe high-speed rail belongs in that same category. Its purpose was never to become China's most profitable company. Its purpose was to reduce the cost of distance, connect hundreds of cities, expand opportunities, and reshape how over 1 billion people move, work, and live. Of course, none of this means China's railway strategy is beyond criticism. The network carries significant debt. Some stations may never reach their projected demand. Certain routes were almost certainly built too early, while others may never become economically justified. Every country that invests on this scale makes mistakes, and China is no exception. But focusing only on those shortcomings risks missing the bigger picture. The real question isn't whether a railway company made money. The real question is whether the railway helped make the country more productive. Because while accountants measure profit in annual reports, history measures success differently. It remembers the infrastructure that transformed nations, the Roman roads, the British railways, America's interstate highway system. None of them were judged solely by the revenue they collected. They were remembered because they changed the trajectory of entire civilizations. Perhaps China's high-speed rail will one day be viewed the same way. Or perhaps it won't. History will decide. But one thing is already certain. China didn't simply build thousands of kilometers of railway. It challenged one of the most deeply held assumptions of modern economics, that every great investment must first prove itself on a balance sheet. And whether you see that as visionary or reckless may depend less on the trains themselves, and more on how you define the true purpose of infrastructure.